I'm Bushrod Sinclair, an American writer living in and writing about Wyoming. People from all over the globe often ask me what it's like to live in Wyoming. It is my very purpose here to answer that question. Most people think of Wyoming in pictures, images that include heavenly scenery, bold landscapes, and a plethora of wildlife. And for most people, that is their knowledge of Wyoming in toto. However, like the onion, there are many layers to the equality state. Upon further inspection, you will discover that most every road sign has been used at least once for target practice, the average coal train is over a mile long, and the vast majority of Wyomingites drive trucks. The story begins with two travelers, a young couple engaged to be married, driving through Wyoming on their way to the west coast. Surrounded by Mother Nature's wonder, evergreens, and that big, beautiful sky, the young couple is speechless.
You slept with her? You slept with her? You slept with Mary Jane Beaverton? Ugh.
I only slept with her once.
Once? I only slept with her once? God, we just announced our engagement. I can't believe you did this to me.
You slept with that guy from your office.
What guy from my office?
The guy with the lazy eye.
Lenny happens to be a sweetheart, okay? And that was long before I even knew you. And I was lonely, and Lenny is the... You know what? I'm not going to terrorize myself over every decision I've ever made in my entire life because you slept with Mary Jane Beaverton.
Terrorize?
I would like to know how you even found out about Lenny.
You don't want to know. So, what do you want to do? No service!
The intriguing story of Bridget and David is just one of many tales taking place in Wyoming right now. For now, we're going to leave David and his plight and follow the intricate weave of several unique Wyomingites. This plotline begins with Tessa Schoonover. Tessa lost her husband in Iraq during the War on Terror. To shield herself from her heartache and grief, she hikes along the country roads and photographs roadkill. What Tessa couldn't possibly know is that the antelope she had just photographed, a photograph which will take first place at the county fair, was hit by Delray Johnson, an employee of a local museum. Using tools common to Wyomingites, Delray carefully repaired his Nissan Xterra the next morning. He then went to work at the museum, where he was tasked with researching a mysterious donation to the museum. A rusted flask, thought to have been used by none other than Butch Cassidy. The flask was donated to the museum by Phineas T. Farley, a wealthy landowner who found them while searching for his wife's treasured dachshund named Ruby. The old man found the flask along with a buried chest emblazoned with the name Robert Leroy Parker. And of course, Robert Leroy Parker is better known as Butch Cassidy. Naturally, Farley didn't turn the lost treasure into the museum, only the flask. The treasure he stashed in his chicken coop where his son, known affectionately by locals as the Chicken Boy, guards it 24/7. And at this point, you're desperate to know one thing. What happened to Ruby Jewel, Mrs. Farley's beloved dachshund? Ruby Jewel made her way into town where she was found and adopted by Miss Renee Butterfield, the reigning Wyoming State Spelling Bee champion. Every afternoon after spelling bee practice, Renee takes Ruby on a walk through the beautiful town of Buffalo, past the Vandercook house, the most haunted house in Wyoming. To make things creepier, the Vandercook's only daughter, Ella, will sometimes just materialize out of nowhere.
That's a nice dachshund.
Thank you. Do you live here?
Yes. What's your name?
Renee, what's yours?
Ella. Did you know that the primary ingredient in invisibility potions is dachshund tails?
Okay.
As fate would have it, Ella Vandercook had been switched at birth with another girl. She belonged to the Vandercook family as much as Ruby Jewel belonged to Miss Renee Butterfield. Had it not been for the switch, she would have been raised as a cowgirl named Megan Long. Megan Long grew up in a middle-class family that was passionate about two things: rodeos and big trucks. And now, we resume the tragic saga of Bridget and David. You see, after we left David towing a suitcase across the high plains, he was picked up by Megan on her way home to Newcastle for the weekend from the University of Wyoming, and naturally driving a large diesel truck.
So she just left you at Hell's Half Acre?
Yeah. She's crazy.
I can't believe anybody just leaves someone out there.
I was shocked too. But I'm not gonna be terrorized by her craziness.
What are you looking at?
You? You're pretty cute. Twice in one day.
Three bars. Back in range. Come on, pick up.
Look, no one ever said life was fair. The moral of the story is that, while you're in Wyoming, turn off your cell phone and enjoy the beauty and greatness of the cowboy state. While you're here, you'll find some of the most amazing sights in America, if not the world, and you'll also find photographers, museum researchers, ranchers, chicken boys, spelling champs, witches, and cowgirls. And they will leave a lasting impression on your psyche, and you may not sleep so well afterwards. But that, my friends, is Wyoming. Oh, and one more thing. Never try and pull a fast one on a Wyoming cowgirl.